Hey, we're live.
Brilliant. So welcome everyone. It's our first webinar in a long time. We will be doing them, but we like more webinars in the future, but we won't be doing them every week like we did before. And then when it comes to January, we'll go back to doing them on a weekly basis. So today we're going to talk about Tanzania, and I just came back from a trip. I went for 14 days. So we went there for a few reasons. There was, to reacquaint ourselves with some of the properties, to see ones we hadn't seen before, but also we brought a photographer out with us. And the idea was we would set up a photography trip for clients, 8 to maybe 12 people, 14 people up, possibly up to 20 in late August, September. So we wanted to see which properties will be best for that experience. And then the other thing that's very important is that, they always say about Africa, you go for the animals, but you come back for the people. The one thing I have to say about the trip that I was just blown away with is all the tribal experiences we had. And again, it makes it very different for people, when they're going to a country and they can do more, than just do safaris and, activities and spa, etc. That there are those opportunities. So the properties that I went to, Legendary Lodge, which as you all know is a great property for arrival and departure when you're flying into Tanzania. I did Crater Lodge, I did Gibbs Farm, then Chem, and I also did Mwiba and Songa, and then also the two Singita properties we stayed in, which were Sabora and also Faru. But we did see Sasachwa, and we went to Serengeti House as well, and to explore camp. So there are lots and lots and lots of options for clients. So, the more options you have, the more availability you have. So we're delighted that we have the people from all those properties presenting. So I think, Gio, will we perhaps go over to Nick, who's going to tell us about Legendary Lodge, and indeed about sort of an overview of some of the properties that he represents and works with in Tanzania.
Hi, everybody. Nice to see everyone. Hopefully you can hear me. I'm actually going to turn my video off afterwards in a while, because I find that when I have my video on, it seems to slow down my connection and everything, but I wanted to turn it on just to show you that I am real. I am here. So it's nice to see you all, and great to chat about Tanzania. I think we must have been there at the same time, Siobhan. I was just there literally at the end of September, back in October. So we might have been very close to each other, but not necessarily known it.
yeah, probably passed in the airport.
Yeah, exactly. So I'm going to turn my video back off if that's okay with everybody, just because it does slow me down a little bit. But yeah, so I'm going to start first of all talking about Legendary Lodge, which you had the chance to go and visit as well, Siobhan. So hopefully you had a wonderful experience there. Legendary Lodge, obviously situated in Arusha, which is the gateway to Tanzania, coming in via Kilimanjaro or to Arusha. I'm biased. But I do like to think it's probably one of the premier properties for clients to stay in. It's a great place when you arrive off a long international flight to just kick back and relax. That's the first thing that I feel when I arrive at Legendary Lodge. The map has now come up here, so everybody can see that. So if you look in the bottom right-hand corner, you can see Kilimanjaro Airport there in the bottom right-hand corner, and then Arusha just to the left of that. And Legendary Lodge is situated just above the Arusha Airport. So it's 15 minutes just from Arusha Airport, and then a 90-minute transfer from Kilimanjaro Airport. It's set in very lush, beautiful gardens that are completely manicured, working coffee plantation. So as I said, it's a really amazing, lovely place just to come in off your international flight and then just relax once you've arrived into Tanzania. I think a lot of people make the mistake sometimes, Siobhan, you might agree with me, of just landing and then rushing straight off on safari, but often I think it's best just to just regroup once you've landed. What we now offer at Legendary Lodge as well, something that's quite new, is a half board basis, which is a really great addition. So if you've got clients that are arriving late or leaving early out of Arusha, Tanzania, then it's a really, really good option to have that half board option, especially coming off a safari where you've been eating constantly. So as I say, it's located on the outskirts of Arusha, just 15 minutes from that airport, and then a 90-minute transfer from Kilimanjaro Airport for people coming in off an international. Set in, as I said, very lush tropical gardens, the working coffee plantation, and a really great way to ease into your safari circuit.
I actually have a little video which Giovanna will show later.
Yeah, of course. Yeah, please do.
So it's just a little video, and basically I was traveling with someone who came in from the US, but they had to go in through Montreal, so they had a long stay. So just this video will give you a sense of place, I think.
Yeah, perfect. Yeah, please.
1 second, I just need to get this sound because there's some lovely birds. Optimize sound. There we go.
So that was a very short video. But that was a tropical boo-boo you heard in the background. And like for someone coming in off a long journey, as Nick says, it is perfect to relax. So I'll pass it back over to you. But I just had to show them, like, you know, the peacefulness that it there.
You hit the nail on the head there. It's so tranquil. It took me right back. Beautiful. But it's so tranquil, beautiful gardens, very quiet, very private as well. So you know, you're not seeing a lot of hustle and bustle, which is great. We also offer complimentary arrival and departure transfers from both Kilimanjaro and Arusha Airport as well, which is also really great when for clients that are traveling that way. Beautiful team. They're all very long established as well at Legendary Lodges. We've got staff members there who are working there for 20, 25 years plus, and they've made it their home as well. So it's a really beautiful home from home. That's how I would describe it, and a great welcome to anybody arriving into Tanzania. We've also just recently started refreshing the entire menu as well. So there's some very exciting new food and beverage concepts that are going to be arriving soon as well. So keep your eyes peeled for those. We will send you those once all the menus have been decided. A lot of tasting going on at the moment. But yeah, as I say, it's great for that addition, whether you're arriving or leaving. So I would definitely consider Legendary Lodge as your go-to, really, when you're starting off on a northern circuit in Tanzania.
And the food really, really was amazing. It was a wonderful, introduction. And as you said, the staff are so charming and very personable.
Yeah. And we're making the food better now. It'll be even better. So it just means we have to go back, Siobhan, at some point.
Definitely.
Yeah, exactly. Just to go sample. Hopefully that helped, guys.
That's brilliant. Yeah. So we're going to move on to Gibbs Farm, which is beside the crater. And we have Sally, the manager, the GM of Gibbs Farm. Again, fantastic staff, very personable. And we met the local tribe, the Iraq.
Yes.
And they were introducing us to some of their language, and they're, again, great fun. And two of the things we did there that we really adored was the walk in the garden, but also then the forest walk, where we saw the elephant caves, and, we were introduced to the medicinal plants by, is it Kasa? If the Lescat? Yeah, Lesker, yeah. And that was fantastic. He really was amazing. So over to you, Sally.
Okay, so it was lovely to meet you, Siobhan, and have you on the property. I guess Gibbs Farm is a little bit different because it's one of the oldest lodges in Tanzania, situated halfway between Kilimanjaro and the Serengeti. It's a nice stopover either on the way in or on the way back, or both. And it allows for that slow safari of being able to get out of a car and go for a walk, whether it's around our 10 acres of organic farm, or whether it's going through the coffee plantation or the green corridor that we keep as a natural forest. I think that, as you say, having that interactive experience with the people that live here, the Iraq tribe, but also our staff, is very important.
We've got those videos. Do you want me to show them, and then you can talk a little bit about them? Yeah.
Cut out. Yeah, absolutely. My very amateur videos. It was taken on a lovely day.
Oh, wait 1 second. I don't know why the video is not appearing. Try again. No, they were great. There we go. Share screen. So there's a there's about 4 videos, but you can tell us a little bit. There's a little bit of sound, and then you can tell us a little bit more of what's being shown.
Welcome to your home. This is your house. Temporary home today.
So I guess from the welcome into Gibbs Farm, it is one of the oldest properties in Tanzania. It was established as a coffee plantation in 1923, and then it turned into more of a tourist or lodge in the 1940s, through the 1950s, and they started to establish cottages then. So we have 30 acres of organic coffee and 10 acres of organic farm. Everything is literally farm to table. We harvest in the morning what we're serving for lunch that afternoon, and harvest in the afternoon what we're serving for dinner that night. The property is very well established with a lot of gardens, which give the cottages a lot of privacy. The cottages themselves have all been individually designed so that they've got different collectible African arts and carvings and woodwork through them, etc., with an idea that you're feeling like home away from home when you're here, staying at Gibbs Farm. Most of our team come from our local Iraq population, from the village of Taloma, and have been here for a very long time. So we try to introduce that through a couple of cultural nights on the property, served at sundowners 3 nights a week at least, and then guided walks through the green corridor and through the property and around the farm.
The cat.
I know the cat.
Oh, the cat. Did you see the cat walk behind me? The leopard.
This is our Libisha tree. They have like more than 18.
So as you can see, it's very well established grounds and gardens. So it's very green, it's very serene. It's wonderful for bird watchers because of we have more than 240 different bird species in the gardens around the property. Kind of gold.
The Gibbs Farm established at 2023. Some of women now, you can see them, they're picking coffee. And you know, coffee as Arabica coffee farm, they're picking by hand.
Just whoever is typing, if they can mute themselves, it'd be great.
So the views that we have from the property over the Rift Valley mean that we're quite a distance from the main road. So it is very serene and very quiet and very restful when you're on the property. As Siobhan was saying, probably the nicest things to do are to be able to get out and do the guided walks around the property, whether it's through the green corridor, doing the Maasai medicinal walk, the bird watching, and also through the gardens, through the farm, and the interaction there with the animals. So slightly different to being in a conservation area where you're around wild animals. We do have the farm and things here, but 30 minutes to Ngorongoro Crater Gate, 30 minutes to Manyara, so in close proximity to the national parks.
The one thing that I really, well, first of all, you're introduced to almost every plant when you're doing the garden walk, which is amazing. It's really enjoyable. And like I have a son who's a permaculturist, so like I really love that element of it. But even clients, we saw them coming in, they were blown away by the garden, even those who weren't gardening people. But just we have a question there from Chris, are guests allowed to participate in the farming activities? I remember you can do things like milk the cows and stuff like that. So, you know, there are lots of activities planned, isn't there?
Yeah, there are, and they're all included in the rate. So there's no additional charge for doing any of the farm activities, and they start with the sun rising, and that's the milking of the cows. So we still run it as a traditional farm. There's no modern machinery or anything, so the cows are milked by hand. After the cows are milked in the morning, all the poultry's let loose, the eggs are collected, the pigs are fed, the vegetables are harvested and gathered, and people can participate in all of that. If you've got guests that are particularly interested in the food side of it and the farm to table concept, we can organise at a slightly additional charge for the chef to go and do a harvest through the farm and then do a cooking experience where they actually do a cooking, the guests get involved with and prepare the meal within, whether it's lunch or dinner, and we include beverages alongside that as well.
Fantastic. But it really is a brilliant experience. Gio, do we have any more videos there?
Yes, we've got 2 more. Hold on.
Okay.
Dining room, and then let me walk with you to show you where the swimming pool. This is the dining room, and this is the setup for the dinner. Jumbo, jumbo.
And this was a guide we went to did the farm walk with and the forest walk, and he actually is amazing. He's so informative.
Down in the coffee plantation.
And the areas that Leska's showing you there as well, with the outdoor areas, we get more and more requests from our guests to be able to have dining options outdoor and secluded private groups, and these are all areas that we can set up. There's no additional charge for setting up anywhere in the property, and we've got quite extensive grounds and gardens that you can have a romantic, private or group dinner set up in any of these locations.
But it's wonderful just to sit on your, you know, on your balcony and overlook the farm. It's so relaxing. Like that was some of the moments that we cherished, I think, the most, as well as, you know, being blessed and, you know, learning all the new things.
Yeah, and we're quite lucky. We've got a bit of a microclimate here, being on the outside of Ngorongoro crater. We've got volcanic soils and an underwater ground source of water, keeping the area a lot greener than it is in the rest of Tanzania during the dry season. So though it's looking quite plush, we are in the middle of dry season, and aside from doing a little bit of irrigation with hoses, we don't have in-ground irrigation or an irrigation system through the gardens.
And then let me walk with you to show you.
That's brilliant. Thank you very much. Just one question that came in there. Is the pool heated? And then Dennis was saying that he visited in August 21 for the 4th time. Hello from New York City.
Hello, Dennis. Lovely, lovely to hear from you. The pool's not heated at this stage, so we're going into summer now, and I would say the pool temperature in Celsius is probably about 21, 22 degrees Celsius right now, while our outside temperature is about 26 during the day. As we go into winter, it gets a lot cooler than that. We do have the swimming pool plumbed into the solar panels ready to go. And coming up this season, we will start heating it just to take the edge off it. So it's not going to be like a sauna, you know, by any stretch of imagination. But it should be swimmable for probably 9 months of the year rather.
Perfect. Fantastic.
Yeah.
Thanks a million, and thank you very much, Sally. So now we're going to go back to Nick, and we're going to hear about Chem, also Songa and Mwiba. So the 3 properties, the legendary properties that I visited.
Brilliant, fantastic. I think we have a video as well. Gio.
Yeah, I'll start with
That's
that.
possible to play that to everybody first. That would be great, and then that will give everyone a little bit of a taster. And then,
Brilliant.
Yeah.
Thank you.
And I see Joyce is there, which is great.
Brilliant. Thanks for playing that, Gio. Hopefully that gave everyone a little snapshot.
Gio, can you take the gallery view of everyone off, just so I don't know whether
It's you. You're the one seeing the view.
I'm seeing it. Oh, that's fine. So Nick, do you want to just describe briefly the properties, like the difference between them? Now, I have some videos on the tribal experiences at Mwiba, and I have an interview with Ebenezer, the guide. But if you want to just give like people a feel for the style of each of the properties.
Yeah, of course. So so I'll start with Chem because that's where you stayed at Chem Lodge, didn't you?
Chem, Mwiba, and Songa.
Mwiba and Songa, yeah, of course. So Chem Lodge, obviously in Tarangire, we actually have 3 properties there, but you stayed at Chem Lodge, so we've got 3 different properties there that can suit every kind of client. So we've got Little Chem, which is tented. We have Forest Chem, which is for exclusive use only, and then Chem Lodge, obviously where you stayed, is our flagship in Tarangire. It's a beautiful traditional style lodge. It's had a refurb most recently as well. Only designed in 2006, so it's really one of the flagships in this region. So, and the whole point of how Chem came about was to create a sanctuary in Tanzania and to manage the wildlife corridor between Tarangire and Lake Manyara. So whilst you're here, you literally, I'm sure you'll agree with me, Siobhan, you don't see any other vehicles hardly whilst you're here. You feel like you have the whole park to yourself. It's very private, but it's built up on a beautiful rocky outcrop, all wooden raised walkways. The rooms are really private and separated from each other. Beautiful, built into the rocky outcrop style rooms with indoors and outdoor showers, and a beautiful watering hole as well, situated there. So sometimes you don't even have to go out on a game drive, Siobhan, do you? You probably saw some wildlife come up to you.
No, it's amazing. Like that's the joy about a lot of the properties, is the wildlife come up to you.
Yeah.
And like we even have some photos as well, like a video later of the tree climbing lines.
Yeah, amazing.
It's something you see there you don't see anywhere else.
Exactly. Yeah, did you see someone whilst you were there? I was very lucky. I saw 2 a few weeks ago.
We saw 3, but then one of them was no longer tree climbing when I fell down, and it did not land on its feet.
Hopefully it wasn't near your vehicle.
Yeah, it was. No, it was fun, because it was very funny when it fell on its back, because we assumed a cat would land on its feet.
Yeah.
And then, so Mwiba. So
but then Mwiba, which is right in the south, which is kind of what we kind of think of as our flagship lodge, which has been around for 10 years. It's an architectural feat. That's how we like to describe it. So again, it's built right into the outcrop there, up in on a rocky outcrop, and it overlooks a rocky gorge onto the Arangisini River. So stunning views, a huge pool looking out over at 2 watering holes, a jacuzzi that is heated. I had elephants to myself whilst I was in that jacuzzi sipping a glass of champagne. I'm not ashamed to say it was one of those moments when you're just like, wow, I've just got this entirely to myself while I heard an elephant came up.
They also give a complimentary massage, a 45-minute massage, I think, to all clients staying, which is lovely.
They do. You're quite right. And the spa has now all just been refitted and redone and extended. So we've got yoga as well for people that are interested in doing morning sunrise yoga, and a full spa menu there as well. Great food and beverage as well, that the chefs really go out there. There's so much choice, but beautiful spaces there as well. You know, there's a lovely library, big open spaces. So although it's only small rooms, you never feel like there's lots of guests on top of you. You do feel like you have it exclusively to yourself. And obviously there you're going to come on to it. I think the biggest thing about Mwiba is it's a great place to kind of finish after you've done the safari, because although it has the wildlife, you know, it's a lot about the cultural here as well. So you can go walking with the Hadzabe tribe. And there's just so many different experiences here that you can do.
And we have videos about that. So then, I actually drove from Arusha to Chem, and it wasn't very far. But then we went to Songa and we flew back to Mwiba. So do you want to talk about Songa a little bit as well?
Yes, Songa. So you shouldn't have a favorite, but I'm not sure. I think Songa potentially may be my favorite, just because I had some of the best game viewing that I've ever had here. Songa's beautiful. So it's set up in the northern part of the Serengeti. And originally it was was a migration camp, but we've now made it a permanent residence in the Kogatendi area. The reason that we've done that is just because the game viewing is so strong, and you're going to see some really different types of landscape here for the Serengeti that you wouldn't normally necessarily associate that you get in the central and the southern parts. So it's very rocky outcrops, a lot of built up bush. You get a real different experience here. So I think that's why it's really important just to point out, hopefully you'll agree, Siobhan, that a lot of people sometimes will just do the Serengeti for 2-3 nights, whereas I think you can easily stay 4-5 if you're mixing up with somewhere
We
like
did,
Mwiba
because
and
we
Songa.
stayed 6 in the end because we also did 2 Singita properties. But
Yeah.
the thing with Songa as well is we were able to see the migration. We were very lucky. We arrived
Yeah.
on the way from the airport to the property. We
Yeah.
saw the migration. The
Exactly.
style is very different though. It's more
is.
rustic, and it's
It's
more
very-
not
It
basic,
is.
but like it's real tent. It's not
It is.
a
Yeah.
glamorous type of property. It's more you're there for the experience. Would you agree?
Definitely, you're quite right. I'd say it's very authentic. What I like about Songa is, you come back from your game drive and the whole thing is just lit up by lanterns. It's very, very authentic and rustic as you're describing it. It's a nice contrast when you're combining it with something like Mwiba or something like one of the Singita properties, like you've said. But it's very small. It's very intimate. You feel like you're right in the middle of the wildlife, and you're quite right. It's also the entry point for the migration. So if you're there July, August, September, you're literally going to see that migration.
Nick, you don't have any problem with us sharing the map later and
No.
your promotional video, because a few agents are sending me messages looking for it.
Yeah, of course not. Yeah, no, and I'm here to answer questions as well, just to help about
Perfect.
logistics and stuff.
So, Gio, just because I know we have animal videos, but do we have the other ones, the bush breakfast or the fire? Where?
Yeah, I've got the bush breakfast ready.
So, just in case anyone hasn't been on a safari, it just gives you an idea. So this was a bush breakfast that we had.
This was
Chem, yeah.
Specifically.
So we just went for a walk with the Maasai in the morning, learning about Tanzania from the bush upwards. We played with scorpions. We looked at the droppings of all the different animals, and now we're having a bush breakfast. So this is in Chem. Just going over to see what's on offer. So you saw there lots of muffins and everything like that. So now we have everything you could possibly need for, you've got pancakes, you've got stuff for an omelette. Hi. Hi.
James Corden would be very impressed.
Back to the water boiling on the fire. Here, the bush breakfast in Chem.
So then, Gio, do you want to, I've forgotten the run. Do you want to show the animals that were in the areas as well?
Yeah, let me get the animals videos on. There's a few, so we put them on into one.
So the animal experience, as Nick was saying, in Songa was amazing. It was really, really good. In Chem, because you're beside the park there, that you can also see the tree climbing lines, which is something that you don't often get to see in other areas in Africa. Lots of elephant in Chem. In Songa, you had everything. It was, a lot of animals. In Mwiba, we were there in this month, so it was just like last week, but there wasn't many animal experiences, but the tribal experience at this time of the year, but the tribal experiences are fantastic. So, that was just something that was totally different from our perspective.
And just one thing to mention as well, Siobhan, that's nice is that every booking gets its own vehicle here as well,
Yes.
with Legendary as well. So,
Yeah.
And a Chem, so it doesn't matter whatever the size of your booking, you'll be assigned your own ranger guide. So if you've got any kind of specifics or any kind of species that you want to know or see more of, then we can assign you to a guide that's got that area of expertise, and then hopefully find it for you.
And actually they do that in Singita as well. So if you're combining, the brands of properties on a trip because of availability or whatever, it's nice to know that all the properties do it, which is good because it doesn't happen in other camps or lodges.
Definitely.
So let me just get I couldn't share them all together. So we'll share them one by one.
Okay, so you can just go from one to another, yeah.
If they were both sleeping feet up like that, oh look, it's kissing me.
Gio loved this one because it looked like they were kissing. But this was again in Songa. So like you do see a lot of animal experience in Songa, and also in this all the Serengeti properties. This is a noisy video, but the reason we're showing it is like this is 13 lines that were together. So, you know, people always wonder, will they get to see the animals? So and these are small little clips just to give you an idea. And then this one is Tarangire, when there was 3 lines, but one of them fell out of the tree, as I mentioned. So this is the mother lying down with her son behind her. And again, you know, we were watching them for a long time. I was praying that this one would fall out as well because we missed it on video. But it's not something that you normally see when you go to Africa. So it's lovely when you do see it.
Yeah, so Siobhan, I was going to say, when I was there, I hadn't seen it myself, but our guide mentioned that there was a leopard in a tree above 2 lions who were sleeping.
Oh,
but
wow.
The lions hadn't noticed that the leopard was up there sleeping. So the
wow.
leopard had to spend quite a while up in the tree before it could come down.
Yeah, it's amazing. And then this is the migration that we saw at Songa. But again, remember, different types of the year, you see the migration in different places. So this is just a sample. And then one of them got carried away. I don't know if it's in this video where we see one poor, unfortunate wildebeest being carried away by a crocodile. Now, bear in mind, it's October. The migration, you know, starts, you know, late June, July, etc. And then lots of leopard around as well. But like all of the properties had leopard that you could see, which is great as well, because even in dry areas like Mwiba, you do have access to the leopard.
Yeah, no, you're quite right. And also at Chem, a little Chem, they have a resident leopard that comes in very close every evening. So it's not unusual for guests to be eating outside in the evening, and then the leopard will literally be 5-6 yards away. It's starting to get very used to the camp. So yeah, interaction super close to camp, but great for cats, like you mentioned.
Yeah. Again, there was an awful lot of giraffes. These were 2 males play fighting at first, but then they got quite aggressive. And again, this was just beside the Singita properties. But, you know, amazing animal viewing up around the Singita properties and that part of the Serengeti as well. This is a bit noisy, but it just gives you an idea of what the crater is like. We were there, it wasn't as busy as other times of the year. And we stayed in Crater Lodge and also in Gibbs Farm. So those 2 properties perfect for accessing the crater. But it just gives you an idea of how much animals there are when you're down there. And again, a lot of elephant everywhere, which is great. This was a bachelor herd, but with lots of breeding herds as well. Like we saw 1 herd of elements the day we were leaving on the way to the airport in Serengeti from Singita with 54 animals. And this was Tarangire, I think, that park there. We were looking at these horses for 5 minutes, and the poor lad, he was exhausted at the end of it. But the guide said it's something he doesn't often see, so we included it. So, Gio, we have 3 photos just to give people an idea. You know, we were putting together this group photographic safari. So we have 3 photos just to show people the quality of photos that you can do on your first trip to Africa. So do you have them there?
Yeah.
So this was one that was taken in the Serengeti, you know, when I was staying with Singita. And this was the family, the Datogas, that one of the tribes I visited. So, you know, you're capturing moments in time that not anyone else will ever capture. They're very special photos. You know, that's a great thing about animals and people. It's not like a landscape that people take the exact same, you know, Instagrammable moment. These are real moments in someone's life that will stay with you forever. And I think that's one of the leopard that we saw earlier. So again, you know, we're hoping to do this photographic safari for, you know, they could be first timers to Africa. They could be people, you know, bought a camera during COVID and using it for the first time. So we'll be sending more information out on that. Gia, we had one about the fire. Do you remember? Do we still have that one? I can't remember.
We do, yeah. Just give me a second. Let me just find it.
And again, this photo was taken actually in Chem because they have an amazing sort of lake area that they bring people to for sundowners. But bear in mind, sundowners are amazing in every property that we stayed in.
Here we go. Just 1 second. There's 3 videos there. It's of the Masai. So
yeah.
Yeah, it's okay. Yeah.
Oh.
Ooh, you see?
Yeah.
Fire. So nice.
Well,
It's a workout.
I know.
Yeah. I would have to use the bow method.
And again, this was up by the crater, the Maasai women dancing. Very different to the Kenyan Maasai.
should be one more. Hold on. Yep.
So maybe we'll go on and just the Ebenezer video when he talks about the tribal visits at Mwiba.
Yeah.
So Mwiba, as I mentioned, it's a lovely thing to combine with if you're doing the Serengeti and the other properties. We went and visited, so you just go ahead there, Gio, and put it on whenever you have it. We visited the Datoga. So a lot of people visit Maasai, you know, and it's great and it's a wonderful experience, but it's lovely to meet other tribes as well. So we visited the Datogas, and it was one of the special moments. And an amazing lady, motorized, who sort of first lady the village, and she sort of, you know, took me under her wings. We were the only ones there, which is nice as well. Like, it's a private visit you're doing. It's not with a group of people, you know, snapping photos. So those special moments. And then the following day, we went out walking with the Hadzabe, the hunter-gatherer tribes. Now, there's only 1,000 of them left, and 500 of them live in the traditional way. So again, you know, you can go to Africa and you do community projects and everything, which is wonderful, but to actually go and spend time with these tribes, it's like almost a homage to their history and their tradition, that you can actually experience the customs and their traditions with them. So this is actually in Mwiba.
It's very secluded lodge, very different, very much safari chic. It's fantastic architecture and the food is sublime. But there's something that you can do that's very different in Mwiba, and it's one of the reasons you have to make sure that you're included when you're doing an itinerary to Tanzania. They have very good tribal experiences you don't get elsewhere. So I'm here with the guide that was looking after us for the last 3 days, Ebenezer, and he's going to tell us about what you can do when you're staying at Mwiba Lodge.
All right, so at Mwiba you get a very good chance to experience the tribes, as she mentioned, and these tribes being the Hadzabe and the Datoga people. Hadzabe are hunters and gatherers, and the Datoga are pastoralist society. With the Hadzabe, early in the morning, we start following them as they're hunting and gathering, going for their best food, honey, from the stingless bees and the African killer bees. Very different, very interactive. And mind you that this tribe will be, it's the end of the Hadzabe. So maybe 10 years, we will not have the Hadzabe. Best chance and excellent You don't get this in many places, but here at Mwiba.
And then also we went to visit the Datogas and we did some amazing activities with them as well. It was very engaging. So tell us about the Datogas.
So the Datoga pastoralists, they keep cows like the Maasai. These people, we visit their boma and we interact with them. We do their daily activities in the boma. We do some celebrations, dancing. We visit their bomas in their houses, but we also get to engage making flour, grinding flour on rocks, cleaning and clearing the hides, cow skin, at which they use as their mattresses. But also we can even sometimes get chances to build their houses. They use cow dung, sand and grass. Visit or walk with their cows a little bit around, and also shooting their bows and arrows. Very interesting. The people are very kind. It's their culture. Very welcoming.
And then there was a lady there as well, the head of the sort of the first lady.
Oh, Motarais.
Yeah, and she is very engaging and very welcoming.
Indeed, she is, and that's natural for them.
Yeah, and you can ask whatever questions you like and take photos. They're open to that.
They are, and they're welcoming you back.
I know. I can't wait.
They've loved having you here.
But more importantly, I want to bring lots of clients to let them have that advantage, and that it's a lifelong memory that you'll cherish forever.
We are happy to welcome more and more clients from your end, and yeah, Mwiba is ready for them.
Fantastic. Thanks a
Karibu
lot.
sana, karibu
Thank you.
sana.
We have then videos also of the tribes as well.
Yeah.
So these are short ones. It's the Datogas. And as you can see, it's different to the Maasai. It's a different experience. Again, the Datogas. So I think, Gio, if you want to go on to the other one.
Yeah.
So there, that by the way was where the girls were looking for a husband, and this is a war cry. She was saying if she did that sound out loud, that all the villagers around would, you know, go out to find out who was stealing the cattle.
Muonyeshe.
So you can do a lot of the activities with them. Like I was grinding corn there, and then I was, thank God I didn't have to skin an animal, but taking the hair off the skin and churning their milk. So, do you want to go on to the next one, Gio? And this is the Hadzabe, the hunter-gatherers. Again, as I said, only 500 living like this.
You can hear the click in their tone. And they have different arrows for different purposes, the different arrowheads. These arrows here you see have some poison in them. And what's needed is a small cut, and when the poison gets in the blood, it coagulates the blood. So with no cut, it's not very harmful. See, I can even test it.
Yeah. And you're not falling down.
I'm safe. I have no wounds in my tongue or anything. That way I'm safe. So we'll be doing these people as they are hunting and gathering. The men, as you can see, are carrying the arrows and bows, and the female will be carrying sticks. They also have a very important tool, the axe. They use the axe to open beehives, both stingless and African killer bees, the stinging bees. And so they use the axe to open the hives and look for whatever they can find, and they use it for food. Honey is their best food, their most useful food.
And what are they doing here now?
Now they are breaking marula seeds.
Yeah.
These are all marula seeds. They have been here for a while.
Where that wonderful drink comes from.
So Gio, if you want to go on to the next two, just about to finish there anyway, the next two videos, and these are where they have different gods as such. I thought they'd have one god as nature, but they have actually one for, so here they're thanking the bees for their honey after they take them. So the honey, the bird shows them where the honey is, and then they leave a little bit of honey left for the bird, but then they also sing and dance, thanking the honeys, the bees for sharing the honey with them, which is quite cute. It's actually lovely to see.
And the broods and the honey will be somewhere here.
So then we have another one, just the last one is where they're dancing. He's eating the honey from the stinging bees, and he's dancing again to thank. And you can see the chunks of honeycombs they're having. It's like unbelievable. And they were stung all the time, but they didn't feel it.
So hunters and honey gatherers.
So I think, Gio, we will now go on to Singita, and we're going to meet Joyce, who is the manager of Faru, which was an absolutely fantastic property.
Hi, Joyce, you're on.
Hi, good evening, everyone. How are you?
Long time no see, Joyce.
Yes, I hope you traveled safe back.
We did, thank you very much.
Wonderful. Yes, my name is Joyce. I manage Singita Faru, one of the 6 Singita properties in the Grumeti. So Faru is about 35 to 40 minutes drive from the Sasakwa airstrip. And yeah, we do have all the facilities that the other lodges have. We have a spa, a gym, a gift shop, smaller compared to Sasakwa, but works out beautifully as well. We've got 2 pools in the main lodge, and then we've got a pool in the 2-bedroom suite. That is the unique suite compared to all the other ones. Yeah, that's Faru for you. Yes, everything is tailor-made to meet the guest needs and wants, and everything is very personal and private, and guests do feel at home when they stay with us. Feedback is always encouraging and positive, and we have a lot of repeat guests as well.
Great. We've got a promo video first, and then there's also a video Siobhan did with you while she was there.
Okay.
We showed the lovely lodge first. Here we go. Siobhan, you're on mute.
Sorry, that video covered a lot of what we did with you, Joyce, already.
Yes, indeed. Yes,
So-
a lot.
So maybe what we'll do is we're going to send out maybe the recording that I did with you separately.
Okay.
Or I wonder, should we show it now, Gio? What do you think?
Yeah, and I've got a short one with Sabora as well. We'll show that instead, or
Well, why don't we show Sabora and then we can go back to the other one as well. And just one thing though that I have to say, it was very funny because there was two ladies there, a mother and a daughter with the same name, if you remember when we were staying there.
Yes.
We were leaving and they had gone to a second property, but they told us that they actually went to the second property and then said, can they come back instead?
Absolutely. And we have that with quite a few guests. You know, they'll come to a property, they will love it. They will love the Singita standard and serving and everything, but they just would connect to a particular lodge. These ones in particular stayed at Faru for 3 nights and then moved across to Sasakwa. Got there, loved it. The view was beautiful. The rooms were beautiful. The food offering, everything was fantastic, but they just felt a connection with Faru and they called back and said, please, can we come back to spend the remainder 3 nights? And we had availability and they were back and they were extremely happy
But I must
to
say,
be back home.
I think you and your husband, Kay, are very special. I think my favorite manager, like I loved all the managers we had, but the both of you were amazing. So I know why they went back. It's not just the property, it's you as well. You have a lovely,
Thank you so much.
there's a lovely style and a lovely atmosphere in the property. That's lovely. You know what I mean? It's very welcoming. It's sort of a home from home.
Thank you very much. That's sweet of you.
Yeah, but it's true. And then there's also Serengeti House, which is a private house within the Singita portfolio up in the Serengeti. And we went to Explore Camp, which is a tiny bit like Songa in a way with a legendary. It's more of, although it's still luxurious, it's more basic and more out in nature. But would be perfect. It's a exclusive use property, so it's a takeover concept rather than different clients staying. So if you had a family, if you had a multi-gen, it would be a lovely property. And it could be combined with yourself because it's a different feel and a different vibe, but still having that Singita essence about it. And then am I missing one out? Serengeti House.
So with the villa private collection, so that's Serengeti House and Explore. Yeah. And then we've got Sasakwa, Sabora, Faru, Mara River, which is 4 hours drive from the Grumeti, but you can fly, which is a 15-minute flight as well. So 6 properties in total.
Fantastic. And the Mara River can be combined with any of them and you'd still get totally different experiences.
100%, yes.
So maybe, Gio, we'll show Sabora first, and then if we have time, we'll go back to the second one if people want to look at it, because it is very good, and you get a really true understanding of the details of the rooms and everything. So this is Sabora, and this is the second Singita property, and it's tented, again, very elegant. It's very much, you know, safari chic.
House, but it's fantastic. So it's very much tent style, a beautiful little bar area here for us to help ourselves, with a range of drinks such as whiskey, gin, rum and vodka, and of course then a mini bar and coffee making machine featuring everything else you might possibly need, down to bitters.
It even had a Nutri-Bullet there, you know, making your own juice.
Bathroom area. It's very spacious, as you can see, and lots of space for luggage, hairdryer, which isn't always something that you get in a safari camp, especially when you're staying in a tent. Very large spacious bathroom, double vanities, those fantastic Malay products, and then the outside shower as well, just you can see it there. Beautiful views all the time of the Serengeti Plains. A large bath, big enough for 2. Again, with those trees outside, those acacias outside. A lovely writing area, or somewhere that you can actually sit down and, you know, play games as games provided, or use binoculars, etc. Then coming into the bedroom, it's a big double bed, mosquito net, and master switch for lights, which I always love when I'm staying in a room for the first night. And then all those plugs that you might possibly need as well. Beautiful decoration. A nice little spear and a little arrow. So a very, again, classic safari tent type. And then going outside, you have a veranda, lots of nooks and crannies there. Outside, a veranda that sweeps all throughout the front of the tent, again with those views. A day bed, again with those views of the Serengeti Plains all the time. A table to have a cocktail at night time, or more relaxing chairs as well. And welcome to Sabora, Serengeti, Singita in Tanzania.
So, so that was Sabora, that was a tented camp, and Joyce is a manager of Faru, just so we make it clear, because now I think we'll show the Faru video. But just, you know, I wanted to catch people if they had to leave so that they'd get Sabora in as well. So Gio, I think we'll show the Sabora video now. What do you think?
Yeah, I have it here. 1 second.
And then just while you're getting that one, Sasakwa is a very colonial house type build. I know it's a modern build, but it's in the style of colonial. So again, you've got Faru, which is very elegant. You've got Faru, which is very elegant. You've got Songa, which is very traditional, you know, more rustic camping. And then the other style is the colonial Sasakwa. Would that be a fair way to describe them, Joyce?
So 1920s, very manor house style. Yeah, for the guests that are a little bit older, that want to be in the bush, but feel a little bit comfortable in home and not too nervous of what's out there. So yeah, all the properties really fit different guests' needs and styles and expectations as well.
And just a question came in there about physical, if there's any restrictions on guests' physical capabilities. There isn't really any steps. Sure, there aren't with I'm trying to think of yourselves. There's 2 steps into the main area.
2 steps into the main area, but we do have a room that caters for guests of that nature. Every property has sort of a room to sort of accommodate those needs. We always have golf carts on standby. We always there just to help guests move around. Everyone is always just around to assist with movement. Yeah.
And I think the same would apply to Songa, wouldn't it? That there's not many steps to climb up. I think it's just the 2 at the beginning.
Just amusing myself there. Yeah, no, you're quite right. Yes, just the 2. Yeah.
And then Sabora as well would, again, 2 steps, isn't it? I think everyone has 2 steps more or less. I'm just trying to
2 flat steps. Yes.
Yeah, and Mwiba, I think it has a little bit more, but I'm not too sure.
It does, yeah.
Yeah, so it is a little bit more. Yeah, it is possible to you know, to do that. And then the other question, do people need to be physically fit to go on hikes or walks? Well, they do have a private guide, so they can go at their pace.
100%, yes. So it depends on your physical strength. So the guide really just goes with your flow. We can do the short walks where you just focus on plants and small animals, and you can do the quick step. It's really all about you and what your needs are, and the guide is very much into what you need on that walk. Yeah.
And then there is a question that I actually don't know the answer to. The hot air ballooning, are there weight restrictions? We've never been asked for clients' weight.
Sorry, are there weight restrictions? Oh, we've never. I don't know about that. We've never really had that experience so far.
Yeah. So there shouldn't be, like, you're weighed for other things, but not for the hot air ballooning. So it should be fine. So, okay, Gio, we back to sorry, I just realized I said Songa there instead of Sabora when I was the 3 properties there. Sorry about that. You know, there was a classic tent style. Actually, it's funny enough, Sabora and Songa both have that tent style. So, Gio, back on to the video with the lovely Joyce.
Yeah, so it's just about 4 minutes there. We're just going to show Joyce did a run around with Siobhan when Siobhan was there.
So I'm here with Joyce, the manager of Faru, and we've had an amazing 3 days here, absolutely fantastic. It's very modern, it's a beautiful property, but very intimate as well, and has everything that you need. So Joyce, can you show us around the property?
No, absolutely, Siobhan, I'd love to. So hi everyone, good morning. This is our boutique and gallery / office. So guests usually come here, have a look around after they've had their meal. So it's quite a lovely place to be at, and guests really enjoy shopping and looking around at goods that we have.
And also, if there's anything that you liked in the bedrooms, you actually have them for sale here as well, which is lovely.
Yes, indeed.
Fantastic. Brilliant. The food was fantastic here. Absolutely everything was amazing. And I found out what MC's name stands for.
You did?
Master of Cocktails. We had
Master of
two amazing cocktails last night. A lovely dry martini, which clients always ask about. And then Mark had an old fashioned, which was lovely.
Awesome. Thank you so much. So yeah, this is the meeting area as you arrive at the lodge. We do the hand washing ritual here. And there's different dining spaces for the guests to sit and enjoy as they watch the wildlife. And then the rooms are on either side of the lodge. Yeah.
Fantastic. Just go to the main area here so people can see what a wonderful view it is. And the waterhole does attract a lot of animals and birds, doesn't it?
Yes, it does. Yeah.
And that's the back going into the kitchen where we were yesterday taking photos with Saidoti.
Great, and we've got a lovely fireplace where guests can enjoy gin and tonic before dinner, or they can sit straight for dinner. Totally flexible, we just go with their flow. And yeah, it's a lovely place to meet.
Brilliant. And then I had a meeting that I had to do, a phone call. So it was brilliant having that space that was very quiet and airy and private, just in case you have clients, again, that have to take an important call or an important meeting. And this is lovely and air conditioned as well. So if people were suffering from the heat, although it's not too hot, you know, they can. Or if they want to look at a football match.
Absolutely, or they can download their photos from the computer that we have there. So
Perfect.
yeah.
Absolutely everything that someone might need. Fantastic. The property does capitalise on the views, doesn't it?
Yes. Wherever you sit, there's always a beautiful view.
Yeah.
Joyce and myself got our steps in.
Yes, we did.
And there's lots of nooks and crannies if people want to be by themselves, isn't there? As well?
Absolutely, especially when the lodge is full. It's nice to set up guests in different parts of the lodge, and this is one of the spaces that we have as well.
And there's a view of the swimming pool. And you have two pools, don't you?
2 pools, a gym, a spa, and a gift shop. The B&G that we use.
It's so fresh, so modern, yet so natural, the decoration, isn't it?
Yes.
And different to the other properties
Different, very
within the collection.
Sabora, different to Faru.
Fantastic.
Yeah, which caters to different guests.
That's brilliant. Maybe just finish up with the bar area.
Very important place to be.
I know.
Yeah. So
But this is where you also serve your high tea as well, isn't it?
yes, this is where we serve our afternoon snacks, and also in the morning and afternoon guests can meet here, have a tea and coffee before they go out on drive.
Fantastic. And you have proper espressos for people who are
Yes, a lovely coffee
coffeeholics.
machine, yes.
Fantastic. And we're finishing there with a picture of MC. So thank you very much, Joyce.
Thank you so much. We look forward to having you guys over. It was lovely
Fantastic.
meeting you.
Thank you.
So that was a good viewing there of Faru. So the other thing to mention, because like I know in Gibbs Farm and in Legendary Lodge, you would do expect good Wi-Fi because they're nearer towns. But I actually did an interview on the national radio in Ireland from that room on Wi-Fi. So everything is like the Wi-Fi in all the Legendary properties and in all the Singita properties was top notch. Nothing dropped. So if you have important clients that do have to stay in contact, and to be honest, we have to face it, it's lovely to disengage and not be on the internet and not to take calls. But at this, it's the times we live in, and clients do need to have that connectivity somewhere, if not in the bedroom, at least in the main areas, or if not in the main areas, in the bedrooms. So we have, Gio, the last video we had was actually Crater Lodge. So we play it.
Yeah, sure. Just there was one question there about medical care and things. People are worried if it's far away. So can you guys just cover on that then?
Well, it's
Included.
€25, $25, isn't it, to get the evacuation service per person on a trip?
Is that, sorry, is that question for me?
Yeah, and well, just I'm saying, yeah, to Joyce, like it's $25 to add on to your trip. Now, not travel insurance, but to get the Medivac as such.
Yeah, and we also on property have a paramedic on site. So if a guest is not feeling very well and just needs to see somebody to feel comfortable, they can drive through, recommend some soft prescriptions, and then take it from there. It's a feature that guests also enjoy as well. Yeah.
And like we never heard any bad stories from anyone when we were there of things that had happened. Like there was always a doctor available or someone that could stay with clients if anything did happen, you know, with them, you know, if they suffered any normal conditions that they already had before they went to the properties.
Yes. Sorry, I just also wanted to add a little bit on the lodges. So what is also lovely about Singita is if a guest is only booked to stay at Faru for 3 nights, they can enjoy breakfast at Sabora. They can enjoy high tea at Sasakwa. You know, after their balloon ride, they can go to Sabora and have a breakfast. So it doesn't mean that you're just in one spot and you can't visit the other properties, even if you haven't booked. So that's also quite a nice feature that guests really, really love.
And I remember you mentioning that about, you know, one property might be more famous for its high tea and the other for its snacks, etc.
Yes, yes.
And we did talk to a honeymoon couple who were there, and they were saying that they love the fact that they could visit the other properties, which is nice as well. Yes. So, Gio, will we go over to that video then, and then we can wrap it up?
Yeah, so Adam can be with us today, but he's sent a video. So this is the and beyond property in Ngorongoro Crater.
Crater Lodge, yeah. So that's brilliant. So thank you very much, everyone, for joining us. We had over 200 people who registered, because I know a lot of people were at places like We Are Africa and everything, and they registered so they can get a copy of the recording. We send out the recording to everyone who registers. So if you're joining, if you haven't registered, which sometimes happens because people know our Zoom address, and you want a recording, make sure you send the email to Rachel, and her email address is office@adamsandbutler.com. But if you registered through the newsletter, then you will definitely get a recording, and we'll also be sending out supplementary information as well, like the map that Nick was showing, the videos. We have videos of other properties as well, but we couldn't show them all. So we'll send those out as well, or links to them on our website. Just give us a day or two, because there's things happening this week in the office. So we'll definitely be sending it out by the beginning of next week. So a huge big thank you to everyone for joining us, for the property owners and managers, for Nick, you know, as well. And then also, of course, to Gio for putting it all together. We really do appreciate it, and we love seeing you again. So as I said, we will do the odd webinar until Christmas, and then in the new year, we'll be going back, hopefully, to a more regular pattern. So thanks a lot, and enjoy yourselves. And I am off to party at the Marion Hotel.
Thank you, everyone. Nice seeing you, everyone. Thank you, all the presenters. Bye-bye.
Thank you. Thank you. Bye-bye.
Take care. Bye-bye.
Thank you, everyone.
Bye.